The UFC is absolutely full steam ahead, and I know I'm super late to this. I didn't even want to make a video on it because I was actually out the night all this got announced. But I was sitting here and I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it. So we're going to do that today. Now, we're going to go through all the fights that have been announced. We're on Big Marcel's Instagram. If you don't know, shout out to him. He's always spot on. He gets the best scoops. This is where I trust my sources. This is where I get my info. So I'm going to start with one of the first fights that I care about that got announced. Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. This is an appealing fight on the eyes. But we're not going to talk about it that much. It's just a good women's fight. Surprising, women's fights usually aren't that interesting. This is a good one. It's going to be very appealing, like I said. Kind of leaning Natalia Silva at this point, which is crazy. Then we have, who cares? Here's where we get interesting. Leon Edwards was scheduled to face Jack Della Maddalena. Winner would probably get a title shot against the winner of Belal versus Shavkat. I see this. I say, JDM pulled out of the fight. I almost cry because JDM's my favorite welterweight. I see Sean Brady stepping in. Shout out to Sean Brady. I think this is actually a banger fight. God, who am I leaning? I guess Leon? I'll make a full prediction, so this isn't like my official prediction, but my early lean is probably Leon. But Sean Brady's been pretty good in his career. He only lost to Belal, and he looked insane in his last fight against, Gilbert Burns? I don't know, short notice though. I feel like Leon probably could win this one by a decision. But I'm thinking, oh no, JDM pulled out of the fight. He didn't. Shavkat Rakhmonov was not ready for the fight. He's injured. My God, look at Belal's face. Jesus Christ. Okay, JDM is getting the title shot, and it makes me very happy. Now, who do I think's going to win? Give me JDM. I don't even care. This is a nightmare matchup for either guy. Belal, his pressure and his wrestling is great. JDM doesn't have great takedown defense. JDM, though, is not someone like Leon Edwards or like a Gilbert Burns. He's going to go out there, and any chance he gets from separation, he's going to go for the kill. And I think he is going to be able to kill Belal Muhammad within 5 rounds. I think maybe 3rd or 4th round, he's going to catch Belal, drop him bad. Belal is not going to be able to handle the smoke. And I'm so happy JDM's getting the title shot. God, this is going to be crazy. It's in May, which is kind of soon. This is a banger main event for Canada, so shout out to them. Shout out to JDM for stepping in on this one, I was very scared that he pulled out of the fight against Leon. But no, he's just stepping in instead of Shavkat. And also on that card, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Figured this would happen. This is actually a good women's co-main event as well. They announced some banger women's fights. Valentina, of course, beat Grasso. Now Fiorot is getting the title shot. She beat Blanchfield. This is a deserving fight. Now I know we all want Zhang Weili Zhang, to face Shevchenko. I want that as well. That's the best fight you can make in a women's fight right now. Fiorot does deserve the shot. Get this out of the way. Hopefully Shevchenko gets it done so we can see that super fight. I'm sure she will get it done. But if Fiorot wins, that's okay. Just do Weili versus Fiorot. I think that'd be fun too. Yeah, I think Shevchenko's going to win this one though. It's hard to see her losing, So, God, there's so many good fights. We also have, this is a crazy fight for UFC 314. Yair Rodriguez versus the debuting Patricio Pitbull. Finally, Patricio Pitbull signed to the UFC, making his debut here. He's taking on Yair, who's ranked like 5th. That's crazy. Shout out to both of them. Yair for being willing to put up his ranking. I think Yair is going to smoke him. I think Patricio's good, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Yair. I think Yair's striking is too dynamic. I'm picking Yair to win this. I think it's going to be a good fight, though. This is a banger fight. This is on 314, and I believe it's the feature fight. So that's awesome. We also have on that card a 5-round co-main event between Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. Now, I'm very sad that Pimblett versus Moicano is not happening, because that would have been electric. But Chandler finally having to go down in the rankings and fight someone lower than him. A guy on the rise. Pimblett's honestly like one of the best prospects in lightweight right now, which is crazy. I have no idea what I think is going to happen. Chandler's so unreliable, and I could definitely see him being stupid as he does and getting submitted by Paddy. I think Paddy's best chance to win this fight is a submission. I don't think he'll win a decision. I don't think he'll outpace Chandler for 5 rounds. And I don't think he's going to put Chandler out. So honestly, I kind of feel like Chandler might KO Pimblett. We'll see when the fight's closer to happening what my prediction is officially. My early lean is Chandler by KO, but I'd love for Patty to win. I think that'd be awesome if Patty won. There's some big fights in that division. Now we have some news about a certain featherweight that's now a lightweight that would have a crazy fight with Pimblett because they got beef. But we'll save that for a minute. Also on that card, the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez for the undisputed featherweight championship. My God. And you're thinking, wait a minute. Ilya's the champion. He vacated the belt. He's moving up to lightweight. He's going to face Poirier. He's going to face Makhachev. He's going to face Oliveira. He's going to face someone while these two duke it out for his vacant belt. I'm a big Diego Lopez fan. I'm also a big Volkanovski fan, but Lopez is like my favorite fighter in the UFC right now. I'd say he's top 3. I'm kind of leaning Lopez, and you might think that's bias. Volkanovski has been around for a long time. I feel like he's very similar to Adesanya, where people are just figuring him out. I think Lopez is going to catch him and get it done within 3 rounds. I really do. I love Volkanovski. I love him so much, and it's going to be hard to watch him get knocked out, but it's going to be so happy to see this man as our champion, Diego Mullet Man Lopez. Dream, believe, make it happen. I'm so happy that he got this fight. I'm honestly happy Ilya vacated and moved up because I didn't want to see Ilya versus Volk. I'd rather see Ilya versus Lopez because I think Ilya just smokes Volk again. I also think Ilya smokes Lopez, but we have so many options for Ilya now. And I'm going to get into that at the end of this video because there's more fights on this card. I believe this fight's on the card. Jesus Christ, this card's so good. Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. I said they need to make this fight happen. These are 2 sluggers. Jeff Neal's kind of like the gatekeeper. Like, are you that good? Are you elite? And once you beat him, you prove it. And I think Carlos Prates is going to beat him. I don't know if he'll knock him out. If he does knock him out, my God, who's stopping this guy? Because Jeff Neal doesn't really get finished like that. Shavkat finished him by a submission. But they had a war. Ian Gary had a boring fight with him. This will not be a boring fight. This is going to be an absolute banger. I am going to pick Carlos Prates just because we haven't seen him lose and he's looked so good so far. Going Carlos Prates, probably a decision, but like a banger of a fight. Not one where you're like, oh, I don't know. He looked a little rough. I think it's going to be a good fight, and I think Prates is going to get it done. Also on that card, Danny Ige versus Sean Woodson. This is actually a crazy fight too. Danny Ige's really good. Always ready for a challenge. Always ready to face the next guy moving up in the rankings. I'm going to lean Sean Woodson early here by a decision. I think Woodson's a very good striker. I think he's very good. He's built sad. But I love Ige, and I think this is a fight Ige can definitely win. I'll have to make my official prediction, like I keep saying, when it's closer to the date. But early lean is Sean Woodson. We also have one more fight that just got announced that I want to talk about. Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. All right, so some people are upset because we're not seeing Sandhagen versus O'Malley. I get the appeal to that fight, but I never really wanted it. I think O'Malley needs to fight Peter Yan. I think that's the only fight to make right now. They're probably going to give him a title shot, but I'm sure they're going to do O'Malley versus Merab 2, and it's going to be kind of annoying. But it should be Yan versus O'Malley 2. Winner gets a title shot, 5-rounder. This is a good fight to make right here. Now, I also kind of thought Umar should fight Figueiredo, but these guys are both coming off losses. Figueiredo lost to Yan. Sandhagen lost to Umar. Matchmaking's fine here. This is actually a banger of a fight. I do think Corey Sandhagen's going to do just a little bit more to win the fight, but this is a dangerous fight for him. Figueiredo's very good, and we saw him have a very competitive fight with Peter Yan. Even though Yan won like every round, it was a competitive fight. So, it's going to be interesting. Both of these guys need to do a lot to try to be champions again. It's a good fight. I'm leaning Corey Sandhagen, probably a decision because he doesn't finish anyone. I think Figueiredo has a higher chance of finishing Sandhagen than anything, but he also doesn't really finish a lot of people at bantamweight now. That's a banger fight. Yeah, there's been a lot announced, and I just want to talk about the possibilities of Ilia Topuria. He vacated the belt. Respect to him for that because he's just going to focus on lightweight. He's getting legacy. I will say, fights at featherweight I wish we saw was Ilia versus Lopez. I wish we saw Ilia versus Movsar. That's about it. But listen, would you rather see Ilia fight Lopez and Movsar, or would you rather see Ilia fight Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev? Obviously, you'd rather see him at lightweight. He's already done what he had to do at featherweight. He's beat everyone. He KO'd Holloway. He KO'd Volk. Who does that? It's going to be insane when he moves up to lightweight. And from what I'm seeing, is that his first fight's not going to be against Islam. I mean, it might be. I think that would be the best fight in the whole UFC to make. But I don't mind it not being made right now. I know they're looking for Dustin Poirier's last fight, his retirement fight. Ilya versus Poirier in the main event of his retirement fight would honestly be crazy. I think Ilya probably beats him. That's a tough fight because Poirier is a very good boxer. He has great takedown defense. He's very well rounded. He's a beast. His chin's great. I just don't see anyone beating Ilya, really. The only guy... Okay, let me not get ahead of myself. That would be a banger fight. Main event worthy. Great retirement fight. Win or lose for Dustin. I don't know if they'll do that because there's also guys out there like Charles Oliveira. Ilya versus Charles would be absolutely incredible. Again, I'm leaning Ilya. I think Charles' chin isn't as strong, and Ilya just hits too hard. I know he's a featherweight moving up, but he hits hard enough to be at lightweight. He hits hard enough to be at middleweight. My God. That would be a banger fight. I would love to see that. I'd be very torn, though, because I love both of those guys. Charles is one of my favorite fighters, but Ilya is also one of my favorite fighters. It would be so good, though. We also could see him take on an Arman Tsarukyan. I mean, name value, it doesn't appeal to you as much as like a Poirier or a Oliveira, but skill for skill, that's actually a banger. And if they want Tsarukyan to have to win one more to get a title shot, why not do Ilya versus Tsarukyan, winner gets a title shot? I think that'd be a banger. I don't know if Ilya will want that fight because I think he's going for legacy, and a guy like Arman Tsarukyan isn't really a name like Charles Oliveira. Does that make sense? I also would probably lean Ilya in that fight. I think his wrestling is good enough to keep up with Arman. And like I said, I think he has too much power. And of course, Ilya versus Islam Makhachev. The fight to make, the fight we hope we get. Hopefully if Islam defends the belt again, he wins. Hopefully when Ilya moves up to lightweight and gets his first fight, he wins. And they fight each other. That's the goal for the end of this. Ilya versus Islam. God, who would I lean in that fight? I'd probably lean Islam because he's just bigger, and I think skill for skill they're pretty even. Ilya definitely has more power, but Islam has enough to put him down. God, that would be such a dream fight. Oh my God. But these are the fights that have gone on. Absolutely incredible fights. I cannot wait. We even have Mike Mallet versus Charles Radke. Base Charles Radke right here. Wonder what he'll call this soy boy over here. What slurs will come out. So it's going to be crazy. I'm super hyped. UFC is so back. Let me know what fights you're most excited for. We even got Miesha Tate coming back. Who cares? This is a crazy fight. Honestly, I think Van probably gets out-grappled in this fight, but that's a banger. Anthony Smith's retirement fight, on paper, this boy's cooked. Zhang Mingyang is going to absolutely starch him. Poor Anthony Smith. His podcast, he's going to have to stick to it after he gets flatlined. There's just so many good fights to look forward to. Look at all these. Drew Dober versus Manuel Torres. Oh my God. Okay. God, what the hell is going on here? That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.